Okay, so we're going to get to the numbers, right?
Yes.
And Ron's going to go through the numbers today. However, I want you guys to know that you all have access, and I want you to start putting in your own numbers starting this week if you have access. Some of you don't because you're not part of the company yet, but those of you who do have access, I'll make sure to share that with you, and I want to make sure you can start putting your own numbers in.
In Google Drive?
Yep.
Yes, in your Google Drive, and it'll be in your shared folders, and you'll see PC team members training and tracking. And right at the bottom of the spreadsheet, you'll see the ribbon that has all the worksheets, and you'll just go to the worksheet that has your name on it.
Ron, are you able to share?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was. Let me see here.
Perfect. Okay.
Got it? See that? Everybody see that okay?
Well, we can see that you're sharing your screen. Oh, there we go. Yes, now we can see it. I can.
All right. So let's start with Bill. Bill, you set a goal last week of 20 contacts. How many contacts were you able to make?
I almost made it. I made only 18.
Well, that's still good. Nothing wrong with that. Did you get any appointments?
I have actually I have 5 meetings.
Wow, good for you. Did you get any listings or write any contracts?
No listings yet. Contract. No. I was
Okay.
close to. I have an offer, but no. I'm lying. It wasn't even close. I have an offer, but it wasn't.
All right. Let's pull this down here. Trying to get my. There we go. Okay. Group coaching. And so what do you want to set for goals for next week, Bill?
I'm going to stick with my 20.
Okay.
My 20 contacts.
Actually, that should be the 7th, shouldn't it? Monday was the 7th.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll stick with 20.
Yeah.
And how many appointments?
5.
Good. Right. Any listings or contracts you think coming up this next week?
I'm going to no listings. I don't have anything in mind yet.
Okay.
But the contracts I hope for one.
Okay, good. Good for you. All right. And no closings in the pipeline yet? All right. Gigi.
Okay.
Weren't here last week, Gigi?
I wasn't here last week.
Okay.
I had to go to the dentist.
Well, that's understandable. Yeah, now that you remind me, I need to call my dentist. I'm supposed to have my dentist appointment too. So were you able to make any contacts last week?
I did 23.
23, good for you. Okay, any appointments out of that?
2.
2, okay, good. Listings or contracts written?
No listing, 1 contract written, but they didn't accept the offer.
That's all right, you still wrote a contract. It's good. And no closings in the pipeline?
I did 1 closing last Friday.
Did you really? Good for you. Wow, great.
It's my first one.
Yes, that's great. Good.
Awesome. Congratulations, Gigi.
Thank you.
So your first inquiry here was July 5th. So September 5th, you got your first closing.
Yeah, Erica knows it's through my investor slash husband.
That's okay.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. What would you like to set for goals for next week?
Right, 20.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not 200. Appointments?
Even if just one.
Okay.
I,
Listings or contracts taken?
no listings yet. Contract, hopefully one.
Okay, good. Any other closings coming up?
Yes.
Think you'll have it done this next week?
Actually, it's tomorrow, but I have to follow up with the lender, the in-house escrow.
Might have one.
Yeah.
Let's put it in there.
Okay.
I like it. Right? Good for you. All right. Oh, Jeremy's on here. Haley. Haley, it looked like you had a goal for 20 contacts.
I had 15.
Oh, great. Good for you. Oop. And any appointments?
I had one appointment.
Sorry, say that again.
I had one appointment.
Appointment, good. Listings or contracts?
0 listings
Okay.
and 0 contracts.
All right. It's okay. Any closings in the coming up?
No.
And you weren't here last week? I thought you were here last week.
No, I had a doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay. All right. What do you want to set for goals for this next week?
I'll say 20 again.
Okay, good for you. Appointments
1,
and listings or contracts
hopefully 1.
and one contract, one listing and one contract.
Yep.
Okay.
And 0 closings.
Okay. All righty. Let's see, Jeremy, where are you here?
I'm right here. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're fine. It's good to see you, sir.
I was showing a house.
That's always good,
Great reason to be late.
Yeah.
right?
I'm actually excited because the listing I have in Benton City that I haven't sold yet since Friday. Friday I showed it 3 times. I started showing like at 11 in the morning and I was not done until 3 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And
Good
then
for
2
you.
showings on that house today. So
Yeah, good. It's a nice house. So you set a goal last week for 25. How many?
I did my 25.
Good for you. How many appointments did you have?
Actually 5 appointments.
Any listings taken or contracts written?
It's out for signature, but I do have a listing that's going to be coming up. It's out for signature. So let's count as that's not done yet.
Okay.
And then I also have 3 buyer contracts out for signature right now, or 3 buyer's agreements out for signature right now.
Wow. Good for you. You
And the
projected 2 closings. Did you close 2?
No, they were supposed to close and they didn't close yet. We're closing tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll count them for next week then.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many? What do you want to set for goals for next week?
We'll go for We'll do the 25 contacts again,
Okay,
and let's go for the 5 appointments.
okay,
And listings taken, we'll put 2. I have 2 in my pipeline right now, aside from the one that's out. So, and then contracts written, we'll go for 3 again.
wow, good for you.
And the closings should go for 2. So,
Okay, good for you. Good job. Jimmy. You had a goal of 10 contacts for the week. How many were you able to make?
So I actually got 11.
Perfect. Beat your goal. Good for you. Any appointments out of that?
Great job.
No appointments, no listings, just zeros across the rest of them.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, how many contacts you want to set for a goal for this next week?
For the next week, I want to try and hit 15.
Good. Appointments?
I'm not sure. I don't know what they'll lead to.
Want to try and get 2 appointments?
Okay, yeah, that works. Shoot for 2 and see if I can
Okay.
make it happen.
And any listings that you see coming up
None that I see coming up. No,
or contracts written?
not yet.
Okay, that's okay. All right. Okay. Right. And Victor, we don't have you in here.
Hey, I'm actually just getting started. Just finished
Good for you.
my course today or yesterday, and I signed up for the
Good for you.
today.
Nice.
So
good
So,
job.
yeah, congratulations.
thank you.
So what's your goal for being done?
Well, I'm hoping to pass on my first try. I'm taking the
Okay.
test the 23rd. I just
23rd?
signed up. Yeah, that was the
Cool.
closest one we had available.
All right. Well, we're going to look forward to celebrating that with you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, you'll do it. You'll do. You're going to do just fine. Yeah, you're doing Rockwell, right?
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, take those sample exams, run through those until you kind of feel comfortable with them, and
Yeah, for sure.
that's going to set you up for success. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Good.
Jared.
Oh, excited for you.
Thanks. I'm excited as well.
So did we hit everybody's numbers then?
You got everybody's numbers.
Awesome, because today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. It is the key to you making money. Now, your big why was important last week, right? We want to talk about why we do the things we do, because who would agree that we struggle at times to stay motivated to make the calls necessary and do the activities necessary to get what we want. And what we tell ourselves in our head is going to be instrumental in how we succeed. So an example might be, I don't know enough about real estate. I'm not doing the level of success that I want to do. I don't have all the business I desire. And sometimes when things get hard, we start to go and have these conversations. I'm going to, by next week, speaking of motivation, by next week, I'm going to have a whiteboard on this wall because I need it to have these appropriately because I want to draw things out. But what happens is, and I'll draw it out on this piece of paper. What happens is we all have a ceiling. And what I mean by that is, and this is one of those entrepreneurial to purposeful. That's what we're going to talk about with lead gen today. E to P. We all have a ceiling. So I have a ceiling when it comes to bench pressing. Now, I don't know what that ceiling is, but it's low. I can probably bench press maybe 60, 70 pounds, right? Now, with the right tools and training, I can move that ceiling, right? And when I move that ceiling, then everything else becomes the floor. If any of you have lifted weights before, it might look like your ceiling is 50 pounds and it's hard to squeeze out 50 pounds. And so you're going to practice, or you're going to rep with maybe 35 or 40 pounds, and 50 is your max. And you can't always run at 50. And when 70 becomes your max, then you're gonna rep with 50. And so we all have a real estate ceiling, and it's not all gonna be the same, but here's your ceiling. And what happens in real estate is some of us, I wish I had a whiteboard.
Hey, Erica, have you ever used the whiteboard feature on this?
Yes,
Okay.
I can. Here, let me do it. It's just not very good. So here's your ceiling. And some of us in real estate, they might be like this before they hit the ceiling. And some of us are going to be more like this. Right? But eventually you're going to hit your head and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be like hard. And this is what it usually looks like next. Undo. Here's what it looks like usually. I don't like that. That hurt. Okay, I can do it again. I don't like that. That hurt. Okay, I'm going to be down here. Wait. Oh, that hurt. And so we keep bumping into that same ceiling, and often we'll be doing the same things at the same time, and we wonder why we're getting the same results. And after a while, that becomes exhausting. And then what happens is you start to ask yourself some questions in your head, and you think, maybe real estate isn't for me. Maybe now is not the time to be in real estate. Maybe I should just stick with my 9-to-5 job. Maybe I should try a different brokerage. Maybe other people are more successful because they've lived here all their life. All of this, until pretty soon you're down here. Now you're maybe not making money down here, but maybe this is like 2 million a year. And in your best years, maybe this is like 12, right? And I actually dealt with a lot of this myself. This is something that I dealt with before I came to Keller Williams, and before I'd ever heard of like entrepreneurial to purposeful. My real estate career was, here's my ceiling, and actually, hold on, undo. Here's my ceiling. I got into real estate, and my first ceiling was like 3-4 million. And I burst through because I had the ability naturally to burst through that ceiling. And so then I got another ceiling, and that ceiling was like 7 million. And then I burst through that, brought my husband in, we worked together, brought an admin part-time. Then I was able to get up to 12. And then I did basically 8 to 12 for like 15 years, which was really going backwards, isn't it? Because I didn't have the ability to increase, and that was really going backwards. And so one year I thought, maybe I don't want to do real estate, right? So what you're telling yourself in your head every day should really be attached to your big why. Remember we talked about that last week? And next is, you have to put a plan of action around achieving your goals. And we looked at that, right? We pulled that up on the screen, and we showed how you could make a certain amount of money. Those of you who have not done that, it's going to be important for you to be able to do that. So I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to go to the MyKW. I just want a refresher for some of you. Sorry. I want a refresher for some of you who did not see this or haven't done this. It's very important. Who did this last week? So Bill, do you have yours in yet? Gigi, do you have yours in yet? And you're familiar with it?
I do. I still need to update mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about that. So we're going to use an example and we're going to goal set for that $100,000, right? And if we want to hit 100,000 and our expenses are roughly 12 and our cost of sales are 25, and our average commission in the Tri-Cities is now 8,000. I now know that I need to hit 16 closings, which means I need to put 20 under contract, which means that I need to have 26 agreements and 36 appointments, right? 942 leads, that's not too bad. So if I want to have 96 appointments, how many appointments do I need a month?
I'm
80.
Yeah, and how many is that a week?
20.
20.
20 appointments a week?
Can you go back and repeat that again? How many did you
For
say
a
it to
4-week
begin with?
month.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what, Jeremy?
Can you repeat that again? If you want to have how many per year?
If I want to have, hold on. If I want to have 16 closings, I need 20 under contract, which means I need to make 26 appointments, and I need to have 48 appointments set a year, 94 contacts, 942 leads. But if I want to set 48 appointments,
That's one a week.
roughly, yeah.
I mean, you'd have some time off too, but yeah, that's one a week.
How many people feel like they can do one appointment a week?
Can.
And here's the deal, it's not going to show up right away. When you start having one appointment a week, you're still developing your skill set. So when we talk 4 weeks from now or 8 weeks from now, if you consistently have one appointment a week, I'm confident you'll have something in the pipeline. But a year from now, if you're still consistently having one appointment a week, the chances are you're making $100,000 a year. How many of you would be satisfied with your results if in a year you made $100,000 in this career?
I would. As a beginning.
Yeah, of course, absolutely,
As a beginning.
absolutely,
I would consider that progress and I'd be happy.
Yes.
right, absolutely. Progress, not perfection. So now we need to do all the activity necessary personalized to you in order for you to get one appointment a week, one qualified appointment a week. And an appointment a week is not you just meeting up with a friend necessarily. This is actual appointment where someone wants to buy or sell real estate, which might mean that you might need to do lead generation more. So we're going to talk about the core of your business, which is lead generation today. And I would love for you to take some notes, write this down. And next week, I'm actually going to send you kind of the materials on this for that week. But Growing your business requires lead generating for buyers and sellers, making listing presentations to get listings, making buyer presentations to get buyer agency agreements, and previewing real estate. And to run your business, you need to be able to market seller listings, show buyer houses, negotiate contracts, transaction management to close, which great news, that's included in your PC program, vendor management, and what that means is being able to open the door for photographers, for stagers, for appraisers, you know, staying in contact with your mortgage lender, setting goals, which is what we're doing today, compliance and risk management, again, turning in the paperwork necessary to make sure you get paid, attend training and get coaching, which is what you're doing today, and manage your money. The secret to being a successful real estate agent is there is no secret. Success leaves clues, and we know exactly what successful agents do every single day. There are two types of activities that they do every day. They grow their business and they run their business. And how I break that up when I was an agent is in two sections of my day. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Each activity is not obvious, but it is important. So the goal of our time today is to model what successful agents do every day and show you how they do it. So we already talked about what we're going to focus on, and today we're going to focus on lead generation for buyers and sellers. So these are the skills we're going to focus on today. Lead generation allows you to launch into all other areas to grow and run your business, because without clients, you don't have a real estate business, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm actually just going to chat with you guys while I look at this because it's going to be distracting for you. So we're also going to talk about your database and your sales pipeline and how to build your database, script practice, and we're going to talk about how you're going to do contracts practice tomorrow. So I'm going to show you this slide. And I'm going to make it bigger. Hold on. Can you guys see that? Mm-hmm. Understanding the lead generation model provides a larger vision of interconnected tasks and habits and how to help you fund your big why. So prospecting and marketing are two sides to lead generation. And oftentimes I find that people are very into the marketing side of things. And for me, I want to remind you that unless you're actually getting leads from your marketing, you have no idea what you're doing with your money. And so we want to lead with revenue. We want to use the red light, green light model, and we want to do the marketing and the lead generation. And marketing is money, lead generation is time. I want you to think of it like that, right? So if you have lots of money and very little time, then you've earned the right to spend lots of money on marketing, expecting that there's about a 50-to-1 return on your investment. So for every 50 people you actually connect with that you're marketing to, you can anticipate getting a response out of them. Versus if you lead generate within your sphere and people you already know, there is a 12-to-2 return. So in other words, 1 out of 6 people that you connect with will likely do business with you. So in the funnel, at the top of the funnel in your lead generation, you have leads, tracking and offering, one-way and offer-based touch program. And that would be like Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, postcards, flyers, even your signs inside of your like listings, right? Contacts are connecting and offering, right? When someone drives by your sign or sees your ad on Facebook, you haven't connected with them. It's one way. When you actually pick up the phone and have a contact that speaks to you, that's two-way. It's interactive and value-based touch program. Does everybody understand the difference between the two? Awesome. Yeah. So you're going to cultivate them differently, but you're going to interact and make it action-based based on nurturing and qualifying your leads. And so step one is you have to put the people in your funnel, right? And you may not even know who they are yet. Leads, campaigns, and campaigns, one of the awesome things about campaigns is you literally take those leads at a 50-to-1 conversion ratio, and they give you an opportunity to turn them a 1-to-6, because now you have their phone number, their email, and their name. So what's your conversion ratio when you have their phone number, their email, and their name?
It depends on if you use it or not.
Thank you, Jeremy. Your conversion ratio is 50-to-1. What happens when you take that and you pick up the phone and you speak to them? Your conversion immediately goes from 50-to-1 to 6-to-1. Do you guys want to increase your odds today from 50-to-1 to 6-to-1? Who wouldn't take that bet? But you have to be in action. You have to pick up the phone. You have to make the call, right? And that's why at the top of that funnel where it talks about 942 leads equals 16 closings, right? And it actually is, it's 16 closings looks very achievable. If we go back to that pipeline and we go back to your goals, if we walk it backwards, it's 16 closings, requires 20 under contract, requires 26 agreements. That's, you know, let's say 13 listings, 13 buyers agency agreements, 36 appointments kept, 48 appointments set, but you need 582 contacts that you actually speak with. How many is that a day?
It's a big number.
Yeah.
How many is that a day?
100?
No, 582 a
One and
year.
a half. It's almost
Oh, one and a
Yeah.
half. Sorry.
Better 1.5.
Yeah, at 582 contacts for the year, that's a little over 10 a week. It's like 12 a week, right?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
12 times 52?
If it was 10, it'd be 520. So
Right? It's like 11 actually.
11.19.
yeah.
So that's 2 a day and 3 on Friday. Does that seem overcomplicated to anyone? And can I just tell you that if you just do that and we get off the call right now, you'll have success. A little bit of my story is when I hired a coach, I was doing 17 million a year. And some of the things we talked about was I never prospected regularly on a daily basis. It was never in my calendar, which told her that it wasn't really that important. And I led a completely different, disorganized 90-hour-a-week life. But how I went from going 90 hours and 17 million to 45 hours and 22 million, which my goal would be that all of you do that 5 years from now so that we can all go out and celebrate, probably in Hawaii, because we're all making a lot of money. And we talk about how you just took that simple advice to start prospecting and your world changed and you didn't have to work 90 hours a week. So all I had to do, because I was at a different level than you were, was make 1 listing appointment a week. And I decided to ensure my success that I was going to do 3 listing appointments a week. And I focused very intentionally and I started making 1 listing a week. 1 listing a week, that's 52 listings a year. And when 45 of those listings close at $300,000 at 3%, how much is that a year?
That's
Are you guys doing the math? I see Gigi doing the math. $468,000, which is way more than 100,000. So I could take all night talking about this subject, but it really comes down to putting it in your calendar and doing the activity. And now I know you guys are doing the activity. I'm holding you accountable to it every week, right? And you're going to start holding yourself accountable. It doesn't happen overnight. But you need to be making at least 10 contacts a week, and you need to be asking for the appointment. So I want to break for the next 5 minutes and talk about the activity. Everybody on the call did at least 10 contacts this week. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How many of you made an appointment?
None yet. This week?
Yeah. Well, when you did 10
Oh.
calls last week, did you make an appointment?
Yes.
Great. Jeremy, you made an appointment.
Yeah.
Bill, did you make an appointment?
Not yet.
Not yet. And I know, Jimmy, you're brand new, and Haley, you had an appointment as well. So I'm going to move you along a little bit faster and give you an example of something to help you look at the doing of the activity in two separate ways, okay? So you have two sets of students at college. They heard this. I can give either analogy, but in the very beginning of the class, in this pottery class, there's a group of students and they are required to throw pots every day, all day long, and they are going to be quantified. They're going to be graded, like when they're in class, they're going to be graded on the quantity of pot that they throw, because it's a pottery class. So just the quantity. So their goal is sheer quantity, right? 10 students. The other set of 10 students, they are going to be graded at the end of the class on the final product. Their goal is to make the most attractive bowl possible. Quantity of bowls, most attractive bowl. At the end of the class, who do you think had the most attractive bowl in the end?
I mean, for me, probably the one who did it a lot more often.
Exactly. So you can decide that you want to make 100,000 this year, and you can follow the formula by making 10 contacts a week. But at the end of the week, if you haven't seen one appointment, then I would move your contacts to 20 a week. I would do as many contacts as it takes, whether it's 1 contact or 20 contacts or 100 contacts, to get 1 qualified appointment a week. And then from there, if you're not taking at least 2 contracts a month at the end of 30 days, I would say to myself, I've had 4 quality appointments. And an actual quality appointment would be at the end of the month, if that person, if you met with 4 people and let's just say one of them signed up with you, but 2 other people signed with a different agent, then that's an appointment you lost. If they're still just not ready, you haven't actually lost them. Do you see the difference? Right? Like if you go on an appointment and they're like, I'm so sorry, Ron, we decided to go with Erica, then Ron lost the appointment, right? He needs to work on that. But if they're like, hey, Ron, we're so excited to sell our house, we just decided to wait till spring, that isn't a lack of skill, but you do need to continue to follow up. So your opportunity then to confirm and assure yourself your success is you do as many appointments as necessary to get your 1 appointment a week. And then at the end of 30 days, we need to see like how many contracts did you take? Did you get an actual buyer's agency agreement signed? Did you actually get a listing agreement signed? And when you are pushing the activity to meet your goal as opposed to doing the activity to reach your goal, then you're going to hit your goal for sure. And I experienced that myself personally. In general, a team leader needs to have 40 appointments to get 10 agents to join the company. I have to meet with more than 40 agents to get 10 agents to join the company. So the goal, I'm only held accountable to the 40 appointments every single month. But if I want to hit the goal of 10, I need to have 50 or 60 or 70 appointments. And I get to choose every month what's more important to me. Is it more important for me to make sure I just hit the activity goal, or is it more important for me that I actually hit the results goal? And so as you're developing, you get to choose every week when you get up on Monday, do I want to be results oriented or do I want to be activity oriented? But it has to be one. And one is not necessarily better than the other right now, because doing the activity will absolutely bring you results. Maybe not as fast, but doing the activity is absolutely required. So you can choose to be activity based or results based. And I want you to think in your mind right now which one you want to do. Okay. So then the question next is, how do I get that appointment? Well, it starts with time blocking. So how many of you are time blocking right now, doing your lead gen in your schedule every day?
I was going to raise my hand until you said every day.
Okay. Consistently. And what does consistently look like, Jeremy? Could you tell me when you time block?
So, for example, today my time blocking was from 1 o'clock to right before I had to take off to do my showing. And so if I didn't get my time the way I do it anyway, if I didn't get the time in ahead of time in my schedule, and I have mine in my calendar in Google. So it sends off an alarm and it tells me when I'm supposed to start. If I start late or something happens where I'm not actually doing it at that time and I miss a half hour, then like for today, after we're done with this, I'll do another half hour. So I try to get the same time, unless I've reached my goal, because that's one of the things that helped me is putting the result on there. So if I hit my result goal and I still have a little bit of time left, I can, do some more prospecting or something like that, but I'm in a different mood than I was trying to just catch up on time, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does.
Yeah. And it's actually less exhaustive for me personally, because my goal is to make 2 appointments every single day with agents that are market share, agents that are in the business. And so sometimes I make those 2 appointments in the first 2 calls, which only take 10 minutes. And sometimes it takes me 8 hours that day of calling between every appointment to get those appointments in. And so I want to be really good at it, and I want to be really intentional with those calls, because if I just show up and I'm like, well, I'm just going to get my hour of time of my calls in, and as long as I get that hour in and nothing happens, I'm doing it. And if I'm not successful, then I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. No, if you're making the calls and you're not getting the appointments, then we need to, there's a disconnect, and we need to personally work on that. Can you guys all see my schedule?
Yep.
I joined Keller Williams in March of 2017, and this was my time blocking when I arrived. And I was a pretty organized person. So then I decided that I needed to start time blocking. So this was my very beginning attempt at time blocking. And you can see I believe I've shared this with you guys before, but some of you haven't seen it. I have a morning routine. I got ready for the day. I exercised, and 3 times a week, I made sure that I was prospecting. And I would prospect for my appointments. So I worked on my business, right? Growing the business was done here. This is growing the business. And my goal was to then set the appointment, make sure that I was filling these appointments down here. Now, this wasn't real great, so I got better at it.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so back on the other one, and you had the appointments already on there, and I think it said Starbucks.
Right.
Recruiting appointments. Okay, was that like you set that before you had any appointments, and that was your time that you had to
correct.
make? Okay, that's what I thought. That's awesome.
That's correct. Yes. So I got better at it because their names aren't on there, but yellow was recruiting appointments. And keep in mind, in this year, I grew the company from like 3 to 27 and sold $22 million worth of real estate. So, and this was how busy I was. It wasn't that busy. I wanted to live a life where I could be home. I launched a new listing every week. When I started focusing on listings, you can see I had this appointment filled. I had this appointment filled. I had this appointment filled. And sometimes I even made 4 appointments. But if I don't have an address and a name on the open house, I didn't have an open house. I didn't work most weekends anymore, which was awesome. And so like the blue was current client appointments. And so I had an appointment with this client, I had an appointment with this client. And then I got better and I started, so now I see, oh, look, there's Ron. I was recruiting Ron in July, Ron. It's good days. But now you can see I started having names in the yellow spots and names in my green spots, right? Listing appointment, I didn't have one that day, but I had one here. Client showing, client showing. Client appointment, I didn't have one. Client appointment, I did, right? So you can see that I just set my schedule up to fill it. And it worked out great.
One of the things I'm noticing, I mean, and I kind of do the same thing a little bit, but you were a lot more organized at this than I tend to be, is that you had the appointments already there. A lot of times people will say, well, we need to get together. And you're like, yeah, let's get together. We need to find a time. You already had your time there.
That's right.
So you're just like,
That's
okay, great. What day
right,
works for you?
Jeremy.
And you already had your time there for that. So that's
It's actually very helpful for people when you say, Jimmy, I would love to show you Keller Williams systems and models. I have 1 o'clock on Wednesday or 2 o'clock on Thursday, which works better for you? And unless they say none of those times, they usually pick one. And I'm telling you, if you can see by my schedule, clients who are buying homes were meeting with me during the day. So we lie to ourselves and tell ourselves we have to work every night and every weekend. And the reality is you don't. When you set yourself apart as a professional, people respect that and they will meet with you during the day. I have it happen regularly. So now my schedule is very, very organized because I developed the skill around it. And so now you can see where is this?
See, on Friday, I kind of did the same thing with mine. I connected with somebody and they said something about looking at a house. And I said, when do you want to go see it? You can do it right now. I'm on the way out there, or you have to wait till next week. And they said, let's go right now. And we went, and then they wanted to show it to their son, and we went and saw it again. So it was like one after another right away, just because I had that time blocked out anyway.
Right. And you can see, like, I still get up, I still have my morning, but I had to add things in because my life became very busy. So I have to grocery shop on Saturday mornings because I found that my family wasn't getting to eat. And I've got cleaning in there now as well, right? Because that was super important to like clean my house, laundry, church, my alone time. I've got washing my face because, you know, that's important too. Snuggling with my daughter, getting my exercise in because I wasn't getting it in the morning. I had a massage, a standing massage. She retired, sadly. And my appointments, my agent consults, if it's orange, these are inside agents. My 80%, right? Like, because I want to focus on my 20% here. So, oh, I'm not sharing, am I? I'm so sorry. I just had that big conversation and I wasn't even sharing. Dear Lord. So here's what my schedule looks like now, right? Like, I'm very intentional with my schedule. You can see, like, I still have my health, my grocery shopping, church, which I don't miss anyway, but I just put it in there. And I share this with my coach so that they can ask me, like, are you taking the time off? Date night, friends and family. Every single Friday and Saturday night, I'm dating my husband alone on Saturday and it's kids night on Friday. I am meeting with agents. You can see my yellow spots that are in there, and it's just become more and more intentional, right? And it's super powerful. For some people, that might look really scary, but the reality is that, am I still prospecting? Yep. And I don't have to as much, right? Like, I prospect here, here, and here. Now, it looks a little different today. Let's pull up this week. Only prospecting one day this week. But next week, oops. Next week, I'll prospect 3 times. It's in there. It's pretty consistent the same time, but as you can see, I've earned the right to not have to prospect as much because I've developed a skill around it. And the skill only comes with practice, right? You can choose to spend some time in real estate, showing houses, writing contracts, but the one skill that is absolutely fundamental is prospecting. So we have a few minutes left, and I want to ask, do you guys understand clearly what it looks like to call and make an appointment and prospect? Do you guys feel like you understand clearly what it takes to make those things happen? Let's talk about it if you don't, because this is new to you. So I want to make sure we understand together what that means.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like a little more, I think, just information around it, or at least more perspectives, just to, because like you said, I am new at it, so I'm trying to understand and go through some of the scripts, and I want to keep going through those just to kind of get, I think, a little more, I guess, just information. So
Absolutely.
anything you say, it's welcomed information, anyone.
I would recommend last Monday, I attended the scripts and role plays with, I had a private training with Erica and it was just me. I highly recommend everyone to just attend it. I'm blocking it in my time now to attend. It's 8:30 Mondays because it helps, because that's
Tell
my
your
weakness.
success story.
Yeah, so we worked on a script because I work with seniors. I'm a senior real estate specialist, so I like working with established homeowners, not seniors, established homeowners. So did the script on Monday, did some prospecting, I think that afternoon, and then I got an appointment on Wednesday.
Nice.
And I'm seeing that same gentleman again tomorrow because we're working on decluttering, trying to get his stuff out because he's 84. Yeah. So it worked.
Good.
And I might have a completely weird aspect, and I tend to think I do a lot of times, have like a weird thought process sometimes. But for me, prospecting is being aware of people and letting them know what you're doing to kind of open a door, I guess you'd say. Just kind of looking around to see if the door's open. So I went to Montana and I'm with my niece, and there's a guy doing remodeling there, and I started talking to him, and all of a sudden in Libby, Montana, he says, yeah, a buddy of mine's buying a house over here, because we started talking about realty. He goes, he's going to have to buy a house over here, but he's going to have to sell his house where he lives, and he lives in like Kennewick, Washington. And so now I have the door opened. So now that's where I'm going with that one. So that's one of the listings hopefully I'll have this next week or so. So at that point, I was like, well, does he already have a realtor over here in Montana? And he says, I don't know if he's got one or not. So now I've got a referral possibly to go with somebody in Montana. But to me, that was kind of prospecting, but not with a script, but just being aware of it and kind of taking advantage of the door being open.
Well, and to be perfectly clear, and I feel like this one could use 2 weeks, but to be perfectly clear, lead generating is collecting data and following up and being able to add them to your database. So lead generation, yes, being aware, talking about real estate, that's always important. Wear your name tag, answer questions, be the expert, but you can't just hand your card out to people. That is not lead gen. That's no different than sending a postcard to someone randomly. Lead gen is absolutely phone calls to people that are looking and have raised their hand. And Jimmy, one great way that we do lead gen, and unfortunately, guys, you guys all saw this, but I for some reason, I went in and deleted all my leads out that I gave you guys. So I'll have to log out real quick and just log into Damien's, which he doesn't do as much of it, but just to give you an example, Jimmy, we have the ability to run campaigns. And so you can do the Wednesday. On Wednesday, we have the Winning Command Wednesday from 12 to 1, where we're teaching about command. And you have the ability to create a campaign. So if you need to add some people quickly to your database, You can do it through a paid ad very affordably. And you can see that Damien duplicated and spent $40, which is very high spend. Like his spend is awful. Wouldn't you agree? For those of you who've seen, but he got 13 leads. And let me help you run a better ad. But he got 13 leads, and this one is, I would say, real, even though it doesn't look like it is, but based on the email, I would say it is. But Damien called them, but he got a lead, and he got their phone number and their email and their name. And most of the time, those leads cost about 50 cents. And this person is now in his database. So what we're doing here is we are talking about what you should be doing, but the actual applicability of how to do it is taught Winning Command Wednesdays. Get on that and learn how to run, because Jimmy, you don't have to have a listing. You can, if you see that on Facebook, you'll see people will say, can you run an ad on this? You can run an ad on anyone else's listing very easily, and you can start getting leads and making calls. And what does that give you? You can totally mess up that phone call. It's okay, because you can practice. And that's what we do on scripts. And here's what that script might look like, right? Like if you all run campaigns and get leads, we'll talk about it on Monday. It might look like this. Ron, will you play along real quick?
Sure.
Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Ron.
This is Erica Lauker from Keller Williams, and I see that you showed some interest. 5307 Crooked River. It's that 2-story with the beautiful white kitchen. I was wondering, could I answer any questions for you?
Yeah, how many square feet is that?
It's 3,170 square feet. Is that about the size you're looking for?
Yeah, it's a little bigger than what I want. How big is the lot?
It is 7,800 square feet, which is just about a fifth of an acre.
That's good. And do you know if the backyard is fenced in? Because I got kids and a dog.
Yeah, it's completely fenced in. Ron, it sounds like I have kind of an understanding of what you're looking for. I would love to connect in person and maybe show you this home. Are you interested?
Yeah, I'd be interested in taking a look at it.
Awesome. Let me ask Ron, I want to set up an appointment with the seller so you can see this home. Do you have an agent you're working with right now?
No, we've just been looking online.
Perfect. So is Thursday at 1 o'clock or Wednesday at 4 o'clock better for you?
Wednesday at 4, because my wife is a teacher.
Awesome. I'll see you then. And I'm going to follow up in an email, and I have your phone number, and we'll stay connected, and I'll see you then.
All right, great. Thank you.
Now, it's not always that easy, right, Gigi? Sometimes they say no thank you. So, Bill, you want to tell me no thank you when I call you, and I'll kind of walk you through that as well. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Bill. This is Erica Lauker from Keller Williams. It looks like you were checking out 5307 Crooked River, and I wanted to know if I could answer any questions for you.
I just was looking.
Okay, awesome. How long have you been looking?
Well, I don't know. I am thinking in buying a house, but I'm not quite ready for it yet.
Awesome. How soon do you think you will be ready?
Well, we're thinking probably in the next 4 or 5 months.
Oh, Bill, this is a great time to connect then. I'm so glad I called you. Have you ever been to a beautiful, elaborate wedding, Bill?
Yeah.
And have you been to a wedding, Bill, that kind of felt like it was pulled off last minute?
Well, tell me more.
Okay, so Bill, I don't want your buying home experience to be like a last minute, overlooked detail situation like a wedding. We got to get together and plan right now so that when you purchase your home, it can be flawless. And that's what I do for a living, and it's at no cost to you. So I'd love to connect with you and your wife so that we can together plan the perfect home purchase for you in the next 4 to 6 months. Is Friday at 5 or Saturday at 11 better for you?
Let me talk to my wife to see what she thinks, and I can call you or you can call me next week.
I would love to call you back, Bill. Can I call you on Friday?
Yeah, sure. Call me on Friday. I talk to my wife to see what she thinks, and we go from there.
So sometimes you're going to get that and they never answer the phone. And if they never answer the phone, keep calling. I'm just going to show you. Well, I'm not going to show you because we don't have the time. I'm just going to tell you. The way that I became the #1 person with Dave Ramsey was not because of my scripts or because I'm awesome, but because I am above all persistent. So when I had your name and number, I called you persistently until you asked me to either sell you a home, sell your home, or never call you again. Those are the only options. And that's the reason why I did that was Dave Ramsey, for one, taught me, and that was one way to do it, which was great. But also, when I was looking for more leads, I read a tremendous amount of articles as to whether Zillow was the best or Realtor.com was the best, which is called Tiger Leads, or whether Trulia was the best, or Facebook ads, or all these other places that call you, right? And I read this life-changing article, and I want to tell you about it. And the life-changing article said, all leads are equally good. It's just a matter of timing. Every single person in your database is going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, and you will be their agent if you stay connected because they're looking for a tenacious realtor like you. And you think you're annoying them, but you're not, because I'm telling you, on my Dave Ramsey leads, there would be people that I never spoke to for like 3 years, but I consistently reached out. And then one day they called me like we were best friends because for some reason they thought I knew them. And I think it's because I emailed them and called them monthly. And they'd say, Erica, it's Kaylin. So good to get with you. I'm finally ready to sell my house. I just got a message from someone on Facebook that I friended 5 years ago as a Dave Ramsey lead who's like, I want you to be my agent. Are you ready? I'm like, sure, let me connect you to Damien, right? Like, because I just continued. And it's like farming. You plant the seeds, you water the seeds, and you get the opportunity to harvest. But you have to do it daily. You have to be consistent. It has to be in your schedule. And you're not going to learn everything you need to know about it in a 1-hour coaching session. But I'm hoping that I empowered you to come to contracts training tomorrow so you can learn how to write one and you'll feel confident making the calls. Come to technology tomorrow, Winning Command Wednesday from 12 to 1 so that you can learn how to run a campaign. And then show up on Monday from 8:30 to 9 so that you can learn the scripts to make the calls. It's a process. If you wanted to go build a house tomorrow, you'd have to go to a lot of training to make it happen. And your success depends on you showing up to these calls and all the other training opportunities that we have. So is there any other questions I can answer before I get off the phone? And I'm encouraging each one of you are at the point in your career where attending the training contracts on Wednesdays is still essential. Where attending the Winning Command Wednesdays is still essential in your career. So who's going to be there tomorrow? No excuses to hit your goals. Raise your hand.
Contracts.
Awesome. What about Command, Gigi?
I have work tomorrow.
Okay,
I
I get it. You have work, but guess what? As you know, Brian records those and he puts them in the E2P on YouTube. So if you haven't been to the E2P on YouTube, go to the E2P channel on YouTube and watch those videos.